Can be seen as one of the most sacred relationships, but that trust is being violated repeatedly, as several teachers, both locally and throughout California, have recently been arrested for having sexual relationships with their students. 23 ABC's Christine Din taps into the psychology behind those illicit relationships and what parents can do to protect their kids. Christine?
Mary Kay Letourneau was notorious in the late 1990s for her sexual relationship with a 13-year-old student with whom she had 2 children and later married after being released from jail. But she's not the only teacher to make headlines, including here in Kern County. In the late 1990s, it was Mary Kay Letourneau. Last month, Christopher Hooker left his job as a teacher in Modesto and his family to pursue a relationship with an 18-year-old student. A couple weeks ago, Fresno high school teacher Megan Denman was arrested for having a sexual relationship with a student. Here in Kern County, police say Saul Lopez, a Miramonte High School soccer coach, was caught on camera in February buying condoms and driving off with a student in a school van. Sherry Bryans was arrested in 2006 for hugging and kissing her 12-year-old student from Buttonwillow Elementary. In 2007, former Garces High School teacher Marshall Neal was convicted of oral copulation with a student.
I feel like it's not safe for having your kids in school. It's just not safe. You don't know what's going on in school anymore.
Crushes are not just among students anymore.
A lot of students like teachers. I know there's a lot.
Like, I used to have a best friend who was like obsessed with her teacher and would talk about him and how good looking he was.
17-year-old David Lee admits to having a crush on his teacher.
I look at it as a lot of the other girls here don't really have their life together, and to whereas an older woman is already in her career, has like stable income and can take care of herself.
But what starts as an innocent crush escalates to an illicit relationship when a teacher gives in. Dr. Dean Haddock is a clinical psychologist who has counseled several teachers who have been arrested.
Most teachers that I've seen that have been arrested, they knew what they were doing was wrong. They just didn't control their impulses. They didn't control themselves.
Could childhood trauma or deep-rooted psychological issues be to blame?
We're just not finding that. It's just human nature. You know, there's chemistry that happens. People get attracted.
For men, it's the power as a teacher and vulnerability as a man that gets him in trouble.
The ego feeding that comes with thinking that a young girl might really be attracted to you as you get older and older.
Haddock says female students are attracted to the power and maturity teachers have.
They don't play games with them like the high school boys that are there. A male teacher will speak kindly to a female student and be a lot more understanding and things like that.
For female teachers,
that is one where they have some unmet needs that they never got met.
Marriage and family therapist Joan Weber says a lack of love and communication at home can lead students to seek a teacher or coach to fill the void.
Being listened to and being supported with words can be misinterpreted by students.
If the boundaries are blurred, inappropriate feelings can grow. If that happens, Haddock suggests the teacher or coach confide in a colleague.
Because the power comes in the secret, then it's out of the bag, and you leave them alone after that.
But sometimes that does not happen. Here are some red flags signaling an inappropriate student-teacher relationship.
If they're talking a lot, perhaps about each other, if they're talking on the phone or texting.
Saul Lopez, Sherry Bryans, Megan Denman, and Christopher Hooker all frequently called and texted their victims. Another red flag? Teachers or coaches left alone with students.
Being in the school classroom alone. Are they transporting your children? Are they alone during the practice?
Court documents show Lopez pulled his victim out of class several times so that they could be alone off campus. Bryans visited her victim's home several times and took him shopping or out to dinner. So what can parents do to protect their kids?
Be available, let them know you're there, and just try to keep the lines open.
Students suggest not letting daughters dress provocatively.
Parents should talk to their well, the females, because I mean, hello, they come to school with like probably nothing on. That's a bad thing for one. And then a grown man to look at that. I mean, you probably don't sees it all the time, but.
And every man's gonna look at a girl when she walks by. It's natural.
Also, teach children early on about boundaries and what behaviors are appropriate or inappropriate.
Never let anybody touch her in her private areas. If anybody ever tries to do anything to her, to come and talk to us. Never feel like, ashamed, like it's not her, like it's her fault.
An investigation revealed Lopez flirted with several students, would hug them romantically and huddle under blankets with them.
Me as a parent, I want to get my daughter aware of all the things that are going on.
Parents should also get to know their child's teachers and coaches. Psychologists say an oblivious parent can lead to a child who suddenly finds themselves in trouble.
Most of the time what happens with the teenagers that have talked to me that have been lured into these relationships is that it just kind of snuck up on them. They didn't really know what was happening until they were in the middle of something.
Now, following the Modesto case, a state lawmaker stepped in with a bill to ban student-teacher relationships, regardless of the student's age. But the bill was killed by an assembly committee last week. That bill would have also forbid suggestive communication, such as sexual text messages. In the studio, I'm Christine Din, 23 ABC.